Hi everyone, welcome back to Casting Seeds. I'm Jeremiah, and today I'm your host. And you're listening to the only holistic health podcast that uses God's singular truth to give you individual discernment. Today it's just going to be me a little bit. I'm just going to do a short little thing. Savannah is not feeling well today, so please pray for her. And I will just go through a little brief summary of what we'll be talking about next week, and Savannah and I will pick it up then. So first, I wanted to jump in to talk about EMF, and we'll talk about what that means and how it is around us. EMF is, I want to say it's portrayed as something that we should not worry about, but unfortunately, EMF puts off radiation, and as most people know, radiation is harmful to us. And then I want to jump onto what screen time looks like and eye strain, talk about lifestyle and posture around technology, how it affects our sleep and the stress that it induces into our body. And then I also want to talk a little bit about social media and how that has compromised our culture and how it affects us spiritually. And then we want to jump into a little bit about prayer and spiritual growth around technology and how it actually benefits us. And then also talk a little bit about AI and how that is affecting our lifestyles and how it has affected the way we perceive social media and everything that is going around that is being used to create propaganda and also just affect people's lives in the sense that it is unattainable, and how everyone's worried about their jobs and everything around AI. And then about dopamine and addiction to technology and how that has affected children, adults, and has affected the communication around families and at the table. And then I want to jump into how a lot of people have isolated themselves because of technology, and how that has ruined friendships and has created a certain type of individual that prefers to be online versus in person, or getting to know people, or even putting themselves out there to be vulnerable, because a lot of people have pulled back from society and have their own speculations and the way they view the world from their own perspective, and they don't want to integrate themselves, and it's actually affecting a lot of people and creating small little cults around the world. And a lot of people are calling them kind of like a terrorist cell, because people have chosen to isolate themselves against ideologies that they do not agree with, and they find groups of people online that agree with them, and they create these little cells that people have actually started to recently become concerned about. And so, yeah, Savannah and I will jump on all of this, and I'm excited to share and go in depth. I personally like the whole conversation around EMF and what that looks like. You'd be very surprised how much EMF we live around and how much EMF is actually in our day-to-day life. And we can't live without it at the moment. And it's pretty sad. Also really great to learn so that you can actually avoid long-term exposure. And yeah, so thank you everyone for listening. And this is Jeremiah, and God bless you guys.
We hope you enjoyed learning how to cultivate God's creation from a biblical perspective. Holistic health is to prioritize whole person wellness through Christ. Like and comment on what topics we're casting seeds or casting pearls.
If you found this information provided useful, subscribe to our podcast for future updates, leave a review to help us improve, and share this episode. We would like to remind you before we leave that perfect health cannot be attained in this world.
Only spiritual salvation through sanctification and repentance to God and turning away from sin will give you a perfect body in the kingdom come. Nourish yourself in the Word, in prayer, and in biblical fellowship daily.
Thank you for joining us today, and a special thank you to our listeners for making this podcast possible.
Always praying.
Keep casting seeds.